and holistic health seeker who, after suffering an injury that wouldn't heal, was led on a journey to seek out alternative, holistic, and natural medicine. She now shares what she learned, helping people and their cats along their path to holistic health. Pam has taken courses in holistic health for animals, muscle testing, and animal communication. Please welcome Pam back to News for the Soul.
Happy Monday, everybody. It's Pam with Perfectly Holistic, and I am so excited to be with all of you tonight. We are streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and you can also listen at newsforthesoul.com if you are in your car and just want to have a great listen to a podcast. So I wanted to thank everybody for hopping on tonight. Drop a message or a note in the comments. Let me know where you're checking in from. And I'd love to say hi to some people. So, hey there, Maggie and Mackenzie. Hey, Jenny, nice to see you guys here. We have a very important topic tonight that we are going to discuss. Some of you already know the topic, but we're going to dive into this. It is Feline Hyperesthesia Syndrome. And I know so many of you struggle with this because your cat shows symptoms. Your vet scratches his head and says, I just don't know what else we can do besides medication. But something deep inside of you says, no, there's got to be more to this, So something is telling you to keep investigating, keep looking, keep studying, keep researching. And my hats are off to you for following that gut. So thank you so much for being here, because we are going to deep dive on all of this. And I want to try to answer your questions kind of as we go along. So I'll do my best. So bear with me, because I'm monitoring 3 different sites and it's just me. You get a Fisher Price operation here. Okay, so what I need to start with first and foremost is a disclaimer. I am not a vet. I am not a scientist. I am not diagnosing, trying to treat, cure, or provide therapy or anything else. And this is not intended in any level to be a replacement for medical treatment, medical care, or veterinary care. So I just want to put that out there. Everything that I am going to discuss tonight is not diagnosing anything. It is simply going to tell you what I see from as a holistic health practitioner who does energy testing, muscle testing, to evaluate imbalances and pick up stressors from the body on an energetic level. I can tell you what is out of balance, what needs support, what needs eliminated, and that sort of thing. So it's very important that you understand that I am coming strictly from a holistic health practitioner in energy medicine kind of format. I use muscle testing, which is a valid energy medicine modality that has been used for years by chiropractors, nutritionists, naturopath doctors. That's who I learned from. And I can tell you it's fascinating what the body can reveal when you do know how to muscle test or energy test if it's a remote situation. And just by how you frame questions or frame statements, you can really get some really clear answers from the body that you are testing. I tend to use a photograph of the animal by itself, and I basically tap into that animal's energy. Muscle testing can be done remotely. There is a theory called quantum coherence. Everything in the universe is energetic. We're all made of energy. We're connected by this vast energetic web that literally connects everything, every inanimate object to animate objects, people, plants, you name it. We all resonate at a certain vibrational frequency. And that is what I tap into. So we're working in the quantum realm. It's fascinating. I really encourage you to go dig into that if you want to learn more. So that being said, we're going to talk about a couple things. And if you're at home, I want you to, right now, you can step out for a second because you're not going to miss much. I want you to go collect your cat's vet records, or maybe you have them close by. You can just pull out the folder, and I want you to go collect them all because it's going to be important. I'm going to teach you how to be a good detective so that you can start deep diving yourself and trying to determine root causes of your cat situation. And a lot of times there are clues in your cat's vet records. So if you have the opportunity to go grab those real quick, you can kind of dig through as I talk, or you can just focus completely on what I'm saying tonight, and then later go and grab your vet records and start digging through. Okay. But you may want to take some notes. So grab a pen, piece of paper. And I will be obviously recording this session and posting it on all of these 3 platforms. So you can go back and revisit, rewatch as many times as you need to if you want to go hear something again. So, okay, I have notes here. So I have to keep myself organized. So first of all, let's talk about feline hyperesthesia syndrome. What is this? What does it look like? Vets really call it idiopathic, meaning they don't know where it comes from. They don't know what causes it. They're kind of baffled. They may have some theories or ideas or whatever, but they just don't have anything concrete. So they just kind of lump it as idiopathic, meaning we don't know. Symptoms can look like flicking, like their leg will flick, their ears will flick, maybe their skin will ripple. You'll see cats are just like sleeping peacefully, and all of a sudden their skin ripples and they just jump up and they dart away thinking that something just got them, Sometimes you will see them chase their tail or like self-mutilate parts of their bodies. It's very, very sad. Let me think what else. Like throw some symptoms out there that you guys see that your cats deal with this. Because I know typically it's the skin rippling, it's the uneasy, like they can't get comfortable, they will dart around like they're being chased by something. They look very uncomfortable, very irritated, and obviously they're probably emotionally a little bit irritated. So Elisa says disorientation. That makes a lot of sense. Over grooming, yes, over grooming. Running from ghosts and hallucinations, right? Tail biting, yes, absolutely. Excess vocalization, yes. I mean, and she says also aggression toward others, tail thrashing, yes. So you guys get it. I mean, these are all very, very common symptoms to this situation. This, I'll call it a disease. Biting, yeah. And what's interesting is not every cat will have every single one of these symptoms, right? So yours may have 2 or 3, and another person's cat may have 4 or 5. And so it's very, very different. And it may look similar in situations in some cats, but then some like very, very extreme. So I'm going to start by telling you from my perspective as a holistic health practitioner, when I go in and I'm doing an energetic assessment, looking for imbalances and stressors in the body. What I usually start with is something broad like body systems. What body systems are out of balance? What is waving its little white flag saying, need some help here? That's kind of the way I look at it. So common systems, and bear with me here because I want you to understand how it's all connected. So if you can get through this next few minutes, you'll have a better understanding of the why. Okay. Body systems that resonate most quite frequently every single time is lymphatic system, glymphatic system, the intestinal system, the interstitial system, and the integumentary system, nervous system. Now, some of you may not have ever heard of the glymphatic system. The glymphatic system is a system in the brain. Okay, it is like the fluid, the cerebral spinal fluid in the brain that is collecting and dumping all the toxins and flowing them down out of the brain into the lymphatic system. Okay. So there's glymphatic if it's up here, and it's lymphatic if it's down, if it's below. Okay, so it's like a system, top down. The interstitial system is that fluid filled part of it in the body between the organs and the glands. It's outside of the blood vessels and the lymphatic vessels. It's all the fluid within the body that is the organs and everything are just kind of hanging around in. Okay, so that can be affected. Obviously, the intestinal system, your small and large intestines. The nervous system is what picks up stress. Okay. The integumentary system is the skin and fur. Okay. Let's see what else I wanted to talk to you. I think that was it on that. Okay. So organs that resonate with this: skin, obviously, small intestines, and liver. And we'll get to liver in a few minutes. I want to talk about that some more. But the liver is one of your main detox organs. Okay. So that is always affected with this. Glands that are affected that I see a lot are adrenals, and that is basically stress response. Okay. And thymus gland. Thymus is your chief executive officer gland of your immune system. Okay. If there is something really, really out of balance with your immune system, your thymus gland is like, hey guys, we need some help over here. I need some support. So thymus is real important. It is a little gland that sits next to your heart. And it does a lot of stuff for the immune system. I'm just going to keep it simple for you guys. Tissues that resonate often are lymph, that flows in your lymphatic system, the intestinal villi, which are those little villi in the intestinal lining that kind of pick up on stuff that's flowing through the bloodstream, right? The interstitium, which is the fluid within the interstitial system, back in the body again, between all the glands and the organs and vessels and everything like that. Your nerves are also affected, obviously, and cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is a part of the lymphatic system, right? In the brain, where all the toxins start to be. This is all the waste products that are flowing down, dropping down into the lymphatic system. Now, the cells that come up are epidermal, which is related to skin, glia cells, which are related to your neurons, endothelial cells, which signals inflammation, and neurons, which are nerve cells. Okay, the glia cells actually take care of the neurons, the nerve cells. And then finally, the main neurotransmitter is histamine. And histamine is basically a chemical, or neurotransmitters are chemical messengers. Okay. So from a physiological perspective, we've got systems, organs, glands, tissues, cells, and neurotransmitters. And all of these play a big role with feline hyperesthesia syndrome. Now, I tell you all of that because the next part that we're going to talk about relates to how all of that fits together. Okay. Now, from my perspective, again, as testing energy, muscle testing, and things like that, from all the cats that I have been working with, especially over the last year, it seems like I just got a slew. And whenever the universe sends me a slew of cats or the same topic over and over, it's because I am meant to learn something so that I can turn around and share it with you guys, because this is obviously a huge issue. Now, sources, the most common denominators that resonate with every single one of these cats that I have worked with FHS are you getting ready for this? Vaccines, virus energetics from a vaccine, heavy metals, petrochemicals like BPA, polypropylene, plastics, foam, wood alcohol, environmental chemicals like formaldehyde and flame retardants, PBDEs, which are also part of flame retardants, cleaning products, laundry products, polyester, sulfates, and EVA, which is ethylene vinyl acetate, which is the material that Crocs are made out of, and some dog chew toys and things like that, that squishy kind of material. You're also going to see things like air fresheners, chemicals from your home. Okay. Now, sometimes medications and drugs can contribute to the toxic load as well. So, for example, flea and tick medications. Okay. And why are those important? Because they are neurotoxins. So you put a neurotoxin in the body and you're going to affect the nervous system. Okay. So again, these are the most common denominator underlying things that I see through all of the cats that I test and work with that have feline hyperesthesia. And that is a huge list. So if anybody says to me, my vet just doesn't think that, the Medicaid, the flea meds are causing this problem, or they don't see any problem with, the aluminum and the heavy metals and the vaccines, then they're just not looking. I honestly think they're just not looking. Because when you think about it, a vaccine is supposed to cause an immune reaction, right? An immune response. That's why they are vaccines. And if they have heavy metals like aluminum and mercury, thimerosal, it is definitely going to cause an immune response, and oftentimes a hyper immune response. Okay. When I see virus energetics, it doesn't necessarily mean that the cat has that particular virus. But for example, if a cat had an too many FVRCP vaccines, that vaccine protects against herpes, calici, distemper, right? A cat may resonate with a distemper, but it's the energetics of that virus. It's not that cat has that virus, but it's the symptoms of the virus that the vaccine creates this chronic disease process that starts. Dr. Richard Pitcairn, who developed homeopathy use with animals, wrote a fantastic article, and he talked about chronic disease and vaccines. And he looked at all these similar characteristics that animals start to exhibit in a chronic disease process after getting specific vaccines. And it's fascinating. So those are some things to keep in mind. Now, in your home, there are sources of BPA, like, let's see, plastic food bowls, polypropylene items. You just have to look. So when you're trying to put your detective hat on and figure out the sources of what could possibly be contributing, issues, just kind of think from an inspector, perspective, and go, okay, what is in my home that my cat is coming in contact with that has BPA in it, that has polypropylene? What kind of plastics are they playing or chewing on plastics? Wood alcohol, and you have to do a little digging on this, but I traced wood alcohol to some formaldehyde, but there are multiple uses for wood alcohol. Foam products are commonly tied to flame retardants. So you've got to look. And it's hard because sometimes, for example, formaldehyde can be coming from flooring. In fact, I have it resonating with the house that I am currently leasing. So I can't expect my landlord to go rip out all of the wood flooring and replace it with a higher quality. It's probably one of those laminate type of wood floorings. So I just say that because if you are aware that you may have formaldehyde emitting from something in your flooring or from your home, you're just going to have to be mindful about regular detoxing. Okay. Because we can't get rid of everything, you know? It's just not possible to totally eliminate all of the sources of toxins that we might be coming in contact with. Okay, so flame retardants. I did an article recently on flame retardants and cats or pets in general. And you know that memory foam material that a lot of cat beds or pet beds are made out of? They're real squishy products. Those are oftentimes made with formaldehyde, or they have flame retardants in them. So you may want to just kind of do a little walk through in your home and just check all of your pet beds. And if they're made with that squishy foam material, you may just want to toss it to be safe if you're not sure. If you're able to call the manufacturer and ask them if it's flame retardant material free, you can do that. I just muscle test to see if flame retardants resonate with something, and I can get a yes or a no in an instant, and I know, okay, that has it. So that's what we got to get rid of. But just be aware, because flame retardants are endocrine disruptors. They can affect the thyroid, they can affect the kidneys, they can affect liver, cause liver stress. So I just say that to bring awareness to the situation. Now, PBDEs, which is a type of, it goes along with the flame retardants. It's like the little chemical components of that. Cleaning products. Let's talk about that real quick, because a lot of you who are watching this may have already done an analysis of all of your cleaning products and switched to something more natural. And I applaud that. And it's so necessary, because you really don't know how detrimental those cleaning products are that we use in our home. So even something like Pine Sol, guys, Pine Sol is just, it's terrible. It has propylene glycol in it, and your cats or your dogs are walking on your floors that you have Pine Soled, and they are absorbing those chemicals through their paws. They're bathing themselves. They are getting these chemicals into their body. If you're using air fresheners or Glade plugins and things like that in your home, just know that those airborne chemicals are being absorbed into their skin and breathing into their body. So, and you are too. So just keep in mind that whatever is affecting your pets is affecting you at the cellular level. So we have to be aware of these things. Jay says Pine Sol is the worst. I know. I fought for years, and my ex was, he wanted to use the cleaning products that smelled really good. I'm like, oh, hell no, we're not doing that in my house. I had to switch everything. So you really have to do your homework. Get something that is natural, even your laundry soap. So like your Tide and your Gain, guess what? Loaded with chemicals. It smells good for a reason, because it's got all these chemicals in there, but those can be very, very detrimental to our cats. They absorb them again through their skin. They're sitting on the bed. They're sitting on your blankets and your sheets that you wash with all that. You're holding them, that, your clothes has elements of dryer sheets and laundry soap and things like that. So the fragrances that they put in that stuff is harmful. It's toxic. So look for natural products that don't have anything that's harmful. I mean, it's going to save your health as well. Now, some cats are sensitive to something like the sulfates they put even in the natural products. So you've just got to watch your pet. Okay. So if you are have gone through all of your cleaning products and everything, and they are natural, I do have a cat client who is sensitive to sulfates, and it's made from natural coconut. So go figure. So not every cat is the same. Polyester is used a lot in rugs and like floor runners and things like that. So again, you can't necessarily go rip out all the floor runners and all of the carpets in your home, but you just have to be aware that, hey, this may be contributing some issues. And I noticed that in my own cats when I bought new floor runners for my house. I was trying to cover my formaldehyde floors, right? And I put these really pretty cute floor runners down, and guess what? Polyester. And then Aylin's flicking her leg. I'm like, oh dear, what have I done? But we're just detoxing, you know? So you just have to go in with that mindset. You can't live in a toxin-free world. Flea tick meds. Flea tick meds are probably one of the most damaging. I'm going to say it. Don't send me hate mail. They cause the most problems. And if you have been following Dr. Judy Morgan, check her out this week because she is talking about flea and tick meds. It's Flea and Tick Week. And she's talking about natural products that you guys can switch to. And I'm telling you, it is worth it. So just remember the conventional flea tick medications that we get from the veterinary clinic, those brands have very, very dangerous chemicals in them. I mean, think about it. It says do not get on your hands, but they want you to put it on your cat's skin. They're neurotoxins. And the fleas or the ticks have to bite your cat in order to get access to the medication, the drug in their blood. They're not necessarily preventing anything. They don't kill the flea until the flea bites your cat or your dog, right? So keep in mind, if they are killing fleas and ticks from biting your cat and getting their blood in them, what is it doing to your cat? Just saying. Yeah, it is scary. There are adverse reactions from seizures to horrible neurological issues to sudden death. So guys, flea tick meds, over-the-counter stuff, scary stuff. So again, if your cat goes into the vet and they're having FHS symptoms, do not let your vet give you flea tick meds to put on them because you're adding fuel to the fire. Okay. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. Your cat is already having neurological issues. The last thing you want to do is add more neurotoxins to their body. Okay. That's my soapbox. So any questions so far? How we doing? Everybody good? Did I lose anybody yet? Okay. So let's talk about what you can do, because I know, first of all, evaluate your home, go through all of your vet records and start looking for anything that your cat may have been given. Let's start with kittens. How many kitten shots did they get? How close together were they? Okay. How many times over their lifetime have they been given vaccines? Because when you start to make a timeline, it can be very frightening. Okay. You need to stop using the products and the chemicals that could be contributing to the toxic load in your pet's body. So when you've done your homework, go through your house, look at all your stuff. Okay. Evaluate your home, evaluate the vaccines that your cat's been given, evaluate any flea and tick meds that you may have used on them. And there is no judgment here, by the way, because we have all been at some point in our journey, we have fed the wrong food, we have used the wrong medications, we put flea tick meds on our pets thinking we were doing them, the right thing. We got them vaccines every year because we got a little postcard in the mail that says, come in, it's time. So hello, been there. Okay. So this is not judgmental on any level. It's more of an awareness. Okay. So first thing we have to do is we have to stop doing what's contributing to the problem. So you have to do your homework first and figure out what could be potentially causing the problem. Make a checklist, and just go through and notate everything. Make a timeline for your cat's health journey. So when you pull out their vaccine records, go as far back as you can go and just make a notation of when it was given, how often, how much, how close together were those. If your cat was dewormed, before 8 weeks of age and given a vaccine before 8 weeks of age, chances are you did some serious damage to their microbiome. Their little bodies are little, okay, and they just don't have the ability to fight off stuff that's going to basically tear up their microbiome. You're already going out the door with their, one hand behind your back because their immune system is now compromised. So the next thing you want to do after you do your timeline, you do your research, you go see what that looks like for your specific cat or cats. Okay. We're going to start a detox process. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just share with you on a general level what I have used, general protocols, specific products, homeopathy, things like that. So just keep in mind. And one thing I want to say here also is I will be putting the specific products and links into the show notes after this broadcast, probably sometime tomorrow. I don't think I'll get to it tonight, but if you check back in a couple days, you'll see specific products and links. Thank you, Jenny. You're probably clapping right now. She's been on me to do that. Okay, so let's talk about specifically, what do you do? What does a detox look like for a cat that has FHS? Okay. Well, first of all, let me paint you a picture. So let's say your cat obviously has flicking, they're over grooming, they're irritated, let me describe to you what their body is most likely feeling based on the things that I have seen. Their body is overloaded with so much histamine and toxins. Toxins are flowing through their lymphatic system, maybe their interstitial system, okay? And the body, the immune system, sends out histamine as a response, as an immune response. It's like calling the fire department saying, we have a fire. And so they send out the little fire trucks, the histamine, okay, and they're running to the fire, okay, and they're trying to attach to all the toxins. They're like, oh my gosh, there's so many toxins in the body. Where do we start? So the body gets flooded with histamine. You have toxins and you have high levels of histamine flowing through their lymphatic system, and what it does is it irritates the nerve endings beneath the skin. So when I see what this looks like energetically is I see nerves, I see skin, and I see lymph, or sometimes interstitium and nerves and lymph. So basically there's so much histamine and toxins flowing through this fluid that it makes it sluggish, and the body is not processing this out. So what happens is the liver gets overloaded. It is like, guys, I can't handle any more toxins. I'm drowning over here. I can't process this all. So the liver gets tired. It gets sluggish, and it's like just dumping them back into the lymphatic system is like, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. So what happens is the body doesn't really have a very good off switch when you're dealing with FHS symptoms. Okay. So there's like the neurotransmitters or the histamine is flowing through the body. Go, there's a fire, there's a fire, there's a fire. But oh my gosh, there's no off switch. We forgot the water. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to open the body's drainage pathways first, because those toxins are just recirculating over and over and over because they got nowhere to go, because the liver can't handle it and the lymphatic system is sluggish or clogged. So the first thing you have to do is open the body's drainage pathways before you do any detox. And this goes for yourself also. You want to make sure that your 6 channels of elimination are open. And primarily that looks, in a cat, that looks like the liver, the lymphatic system, the skin, the kidneys, the bladder, the large intestines, the lungs. So all these organs have to be, and systems have to be optimally working. So we open the body's drainage pathways so that when we start this detox process, the body is able to eliminate the toxins from the body. And most of the time that's through the urine or through the colon. Okay. When the liver is sluggish and backed up, you see stuff come out through the skin. So that's where you may see welts, you may see fat pockets, fatty deposits, you might see irritation, you might see fur loss and things like that. The skin is your largest detox organ. So when the liver is not working right, things will come out through the skin. So what I use for opening the drainage pathways is a homeopathic remedy called Detoxifier for Pets. And it's by Newton. I carry it in my shop. And it's basically homeopathy. And it's so easy to use for cats because it's probably maybe 2 or 3 drops, maybe 4, depending on the size of the cat. Twice a day, you can put it in food. You can put it in a little wet treats. It doesn't taste bad at all. It might taste a little sweet, but cats don't really taste sweet. So it's easy to hide in just a little something. You can add it to a little bit of cream or a bone broth or water or something like that and just squirt it in the mouth. But it really doesn't taste bad at all. So again, little amounts, and you're probably going to need to do that twice a day for 4 weeks. Okay. Because we've got to give the body time to open those pathways and make sure all the lymphatic system is working and flowing and things are going out of the body and not recirculating. So typically after 2 weeks, we want to give the body at least 2 weeks, and then we start a liver support. So for a specific FHS type of situation, I have found now that the best 2 options would either be Liver Defense or Detox Blend by Animal Essentials, because they contain both milk thistle and dandelion, burdock root, things like was it red clover, things that support the lymphatic as well as liver together. That has seemed to work better than just straight milk thistle. Okay. Plus, I think both of these have glycerin base, so it doesn't taste as nasty as just a regular milk thistle. So again, at least 2 weeks of lymphatic support first, and then go into a liver support product. And someone's asking me about Liver Tonic from Adored Beast. That is a great product. Again, I wouldn't use it in the beginning. I would wait till you get the lymphatic support working first, and then after a couple weeks, add something like that, because it does include, I think, phase 1, phase 2 detox level for the liver. And you're going to want to do that for probably at least 4 to 5 weeks. Okay. So if you're looking at making a timeline, you can just start lymphatic first after a couple of weeks, and know that you're going to do that for at least 4 weeks. But 2 weeks into that, you can start liver, and that's going to be at least 4 weeks, maybe 5, depending on how bad the case is. And it may need to be longer. And this is where you have to be a good observer and see what kind of support your cat needs. And we'll get back to that in a second. So when your cat has been on lymphatic plus now liver support for 2 weeks, again, we've got to prepare the organs properly for detox before we start specific detox. Okay. Then I would start using, if your cat had vaccines, I don't care if it was the FERCP vaccine or the rabies vaccine or a combination of those or multiple, whatever, I would use a 200C potency. That's very important because we're talking about a chronic condition. Listen 200C for the rabies, and Thuja occidentalis 200C for the FERCP vaccines. Now, I know a lot of holistic vets like to use Thuja for rabies, and I can tell you every cat that I have muscle tested or energy tested that had rabies vaccine issues never responded to Thuya. It was always listen. So there are probably, I don't know, 15 to 20 different homeopathic remedies that can be used that have shown to be effective for detoxing rabies vaccine. Listen is the most common that I have ever used. Okay, Thuya just didn't cut it. So that's what I would use. And I would do one vaccine at a time. So twice a day for 2 days. You're going to take, and oh, by the way, in the notes that I put in here, I do sell custom doses. So if you don't want to have to go out and buy a whole tube of homeopathy for these issues, I sell custom doses for $3. So you'll get your 3 pellets. All you'll need is 3 pellets. You're going to make a remedy with purified or filtered water, half a cup of water. Don't touch the pellets, just drop the pellets into that half cup of water. Let them dissolve a little bit, okay? Take a syringe or dropper, and you're going to cover the tip with your finger. I'll use my pen. Pretend this is a syringe, okay? Cover the tip with your finger, and you're going to succuss it. Just hit it really hard, about 12 times, and you're just going to squirt it in their mouth, or put it on a little bit of food, okay? Or a treat, or a, churro, or baby food puree or something, okay? It's water-based. It doesn't taste like anything. This is energy. So it's not, and it's half a milliliter. I forgot to say that. Half a milliliter. Very small amount. It's not about weight. Homeopathy is energy medicine. It is not weight-based medicine like conventional, drugs or herbals and things like that. So half a milliliter is all you need twice a day, 2 days. Do your FVR, do your Thuya first or do your listen first, doesn't matter. Complete that before you do the next one. So if you need both vaccines detoxed, you'll do one at a time. So take the 2 days and then you start the next one and you do that for 2 days. And when you're done with that, then if your cat has heavy metals from their vaccines, thimerosal, aluminum, you're going to want to do a heavy metal chemical cleanse, okay? Or if your cat has had flea tick medications, you're going to want to use a heavy metal chemical cleanse type of detox product. I will tell you from all the testing I have done, I know a lot of vets don't kill the messenger here. They love spirulina, but I'll tell you, spirulina isn't strong enough from what I have tested. I like to use a scale like 1 to 100, like how effective is this going to be for this particular pet? And spirulina always comes in at about 60%. So I don't recommend it for that. I would use something else. The product that I love and use all the time is called Heavy Metal and Chemical Cleanse. And it's made for humans. It's by Global Healing. I carry this also. We reduce the dose to 1 drop. It's literally 1 drop. And you can easily put that in a baby food, a puree or something, a little bit of food, and it's 1 drop for probably 6 to 7 weeks. Now, in some of these cats' cases, they needed 7 weeks because they were so toxic, okay? Let's see. So if you're going along and you're going through this whole process and you're getting through the heavy metal chemical part and you're still seeing a lot of flicking, you might need to continue the lymphatic support with like the detox blend or the liver defense, because we want to make sure that we keep supporting that liver and lymphatic system collectively during this whole process. So this is where you have to be really, really good observing at the symptoms. Watch your cat, see how they respond. Okay. Now, that's the detox part, but we can't just detox the body and expect it to be, all happy and hunky-dory. We've got to go back and we've got to support the gut, the microbiome. We've got to support the immune system so it can rebuild and restore itself. So we give it tools like a humic or fulvic acid product. I know Polypet has one. I cannot remember what it's called. The one that I like to use is Ion Gut Support by Ion Biome. It is easy. It tastes like water. It's easy to put into the food again. And for cats, typically it's 1 teaspoon a day. So you go half a teaspoon in the morning, half at night, doesn't matter as long as it's 1 teaspoon a day. And typically I see 3 to 4 months daily. They need this kind of support. And after that time, you can drop down to 3 times a week. But I would keep doing it for another 3 to 4 months because it takes time to restore that leaky gut, to restore the gut lining in the body. The other thing that I highly, highly recommend is that you add antioxidants from day one. If you're not using antioxidants right now, you need to start using antioxidants. So antioxidants fight free radicals, right? They're excellent for supporting the immune system and giving the immune system the tools it needs to rebalance and heal itself. So one of the best things you can do is omega-3s. Find a source of omega-3 oils. I don't care if it's, krill, tuna oil, or anchovy oil. Typically not a liver oil, so not a cod liver because it's got a lot of vitamin D and vitamin A. So if you can do just the basics, krill, sardine, fish, anchovy, algae oil, something like that would be great. Or if you want a food base, like 1/2 to 1 sardine in water, the kind you get at the grocery store. And those sardines are pretty good sizes. So maybe 1/2 a sardine. Give them some antioxidants. Omega-3s, super, super important. The other thing that I love are medicinal mushrooms. So the top 3 mushrooms for helping vaccine-related issues, FHS type symptoms, that sort of thing, compromised immune system would be reishi mushroom, turkey tail mushroom, or chaga. Those have always come out like 90 to 100% effective, beneficial for my clients. So do that twice a day for 3 to 6 months. Okay. You can't overdo the mushrooms. There's so many great components and benefits of using medicinal mushrooms. It's amazing. The other thing that you can do is add a pinch of turmeric or curcumin to your cat's food every day. This is one of the most amazing antioxidants that you can use both for yourself and for your pets. So adding that. Another thing you could use is vitamin C. I mean, there's so many great products out there for vitamin C for cats and for dogs. VitaCat by Feline Essential is one. You can use Ester C if you want just a plain vitamin C, but look and see, what's out there, but pick at least 2. Don't just do one once a day, but if you can get your cat to do more than 1 antioxidant, the omegas, I think, would be number 1. Number 2 would be the mushrooms. Okay. Mushrooms or curcumin, turmeric. But those are so, so great for helping restore immune system balance. Let's see. Well, let me see what else I got here. Okay. Any questions so far? So we've got to restore the gut. We seal the leaky gut. Because remember, if your cat has been affected by chemicals, drugs, anesthesia, flea tick meds, vaccines, heavy metals, things like that, those things eat away that 1 cell thick barrier between your intestinal lining and the bloodstream. So those little tight junctions start to open up and these toxins start to slip through into the bloodstream. And the immune system looks at that and like, oh my God, there's an invader. So they send out the army, right? So we've got to seal that gut back. And that's what takes months to restore. But you can do this. You just have to be patient. Which brings me to, okay, Lisa has a question. Fecal matter of FMTs, fecal microbiome transplants. Yes, they are great, but you got to be careful when you do them because if you don't address the root cause of the issue and your cat is not in a place where it is nourished, it's not getting, if you're not taking out the chemicals and you're not addressing the vaccines and all of that, and if your cat is not healthy enough, that FMT is not going to do you any good. So we've got to get the cat to a stable position. And I just learned that recently on one of the Inside Scoop. It was either Inside Scoop or Dr. Suter's chats on Facebook. So do your research, okay? Because if they're not healthy enough to make a difference yet, you're wasting your money. You'll have to do it again. So let's get your cat stable and then throw that in if you want to. Absolutely. Amanda says, how do we give omega-3s if our cat is allergic to fish? Algae oil. You could try algae. You could try flaxseed oil. I know there was a study that Dr. Ryan Yemke did where they found that flaxseed oil was an effective omega-3 that the body was able to absorb. Now, if you compared it to how well it does to a marine source, I would go with the marine source if you can, but you can always try the flaxseed oil too. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up here real quick here. So just final thoughts. I want you guys to pack your patience. You have got to be persistent and you can't quit. Because every time you look at your cat and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how much more I can do, you have to do one more day. Just every day, just one more day, one more day, one more day. Okay, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have these ups and downs, and every cat's body is different, and you have to be patient. And if you feel like it's too much, you just back off, you step back, you reduce the dose a little bit, whatever supplement or liver support or whatever it is, skip a day. If you feel like your cat is having a really bad day or you're not sure what's going on, just back off, drop the amounts a little bit. It's okay. The body has to take time to heal, and you're going to have these ups and downs. Wet treats are great to hide things in. We don't want our cats to become food averse. So play with things like Gerber baby food meat purees. Play with things like the churu. My cats love the fussy cat squeeze up purees. Something that they love. Bone broth. Hide it in goat's milk. You got to be creative, okay? Syringe things if necessary. Ask Jenny on Floppy Cats. Oh my God, she is the queen of syringing things. So if she's had to do this for, multiple issues, if you just can't get it in any other way, be mindful that some of these things may not taste really great to a cat. So you may have to put some bone broth in it, put some goat's milk, something that they like, tuna juice, whatever it is, and mix it a little bit. Because if you try to, like for some products like milk thistle, they'll foam at the mouth. Just saying. Just beware. You can start slower, like I said. So if you want to start slower with the lymphatic support, like in the very beginning, the detoxer, go to 1 drop and then do that for a couple of days, then increase it to 2 drops and then go to 3 drops. You can start slower. And then I want you to keep a diary and a journal. So write down every day what you observe. If it's, if you've had a really good day, what were they eating? What did you do? All of that. The next day, maybe not so good. You can go back and, okay, was something we did yesterday triggered something? And I'm going to share with you one other thing before we have to wrap up. Be mindful of new things you bring in your house. So if it's Christmas season and all of a sudden you want to go pull out all the Christmas decorations and your cat has FHS and it was doing pretty good, and then all of a sudden you have Christmas tree and you have this and you have that. If something is off-gassing, it may trigger an uptick in all of your cat symptoms. Just beware, okay? If you bring in new furniture, if you bring in new rugs and you have an uptick, you've got to step back and go, okay, what did we change? What did we do that's different? So these are just like broad things to think about. But I would just say you can do this. You just have to be persistent. You have to be committed. And remember, your cat is depending on you. And then going forward, don't keep doing the old things that were causing the problems. You're going to get through this. It can take time. I am always here as a practitioner. I do consultations worldwide. So you can reach out to me at Pam at Perfectly Holistic. You can book a free consultation through my calendar appointment on the website. I have an optimal cat health analysis. If you want me to hold your hand, I can design everything for you. So I can just send it all to you and we can get it specified for your cat and their situation. Chiropractic care, acupuncture. Acupuncture can help the body just in general, but I don't know that chiropractic care would be my first thing. I haven't seen that unless there's some kind of a skeletal issue going on with that. But I have to say, I'm going to have to close shop here because they're going to kick me off of the radio show. But if you guys have questions, put them in the comments. I will do my very best to reply. Or again, it's easier if you can just shoot me emails. That would be awesome. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Share it with anybody who's struggling with this issue, because we really do need to support these amazing pet parents who are just frustrated and overwhelmed and don't know where to turn. So I hope this helps. We will be back next month with a really cool episode with light workers. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next month. So have a great evening. Bye, y'all.